Yo, what's up, guys? I am Sentiment, and I wanted to gush about my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean movie of all time, Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End. Now, I know it's a bit of a controversial pick. From the brief research I did, I concluded that it's a lot of people's third favorite movie out of five, but for me personally, it is a clear number one. The most consistent criticism I see is that it has too many conflicting plot lines and can become pretty convoluted, and I definitely agree, especially upon first viewing. Compared to a lot of other movies, it's got its multiple antagonists, plot lines, and plans unfolding. It's honestly a lot, but those multiple different plot lines, while they may be a drawback overall, for me, they keep me engaged, and almost all of the characters within these plot lines are compelling enough to keep my attention. It's a matter of preference, really. Anyway, on to some of my favorite moments and aspects of the movie in no particular order. Honestly, if you're looking for a concrete, complex breakdown, you're out of luck for now. Although when I do hone my analysis skills, I wouldn't mind going in depth on the movie and some of the characters. Anyway, into some of my favorite aspects, starting with the opening. Everyone here may remember, but it starts with a bunch of pirates in an East India Trading Company territory being unalived for piracy. The solemn speech going on in the back adds a grim atmosphere, and the situation is hopeless as all the pirates are being guarded. A young preteen boy is brought to the gallows, and despite his age, he's no doubt going to share the same fate as them, and he begins to sing the infamous TikTok adopted song, Hoist the Colors. All the other pirates join in as he and the rest of the pirates' lives are ended. It's such a dark concept, and I'm pretty proud of Disney for sticking with it. They show glimpses of more mature themes like this throughout their content, and it's always cool to see. It's not like we see the act happen, but we do get to see the legs of the previous gallows victims shaking as their life was taken from them. It's an amazing scene, and honestly, I wish we had seen this moment in theaters. When I say we, I mean me personally. And by far, it's my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean opening, with On Stranger Tides and Curse of the Black Pearl following, respectively. Next, we have the characters, starting with Teodama. I love this character. She's such an interesting take on a Greek goddess. Visually and culturally, they shift her, and it kind of reminds me how in the Heroes of Olympus book series, gods change their personality and appearance when they shift from Greek to Roman and vice versa. Here we have a Greek goddess who's kind of shifted to a more voodoo Caribbean style, and it's one of the most least expected cultural changes I'd expect. She's pretty charismatic and weird, and I enjoy her cryptic lines. An incredibly cool and underrated character for sure, and I would have liked to see more of her. Next, we have Will and Elizabeth. Will was nice, and Elizabeth was slightly on the annoying side, but they were both okay. Elizabeth's speech was nice before the Brethren Court, before the battle, and the marriage sequence in the final battle was pretty cool. But I mean, not too much to say about them right now. Next, we have Jack. He was his usual self: cunning, smart, charismatic, and funny. I would say he has less iconic moments in this movie than the past two, but he does have a great moment that I'll touch upon soon. Next, we have Barbossa. I'd say my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean character. Similar to Jack, he's an absolutely insane man, yet has a method to his madness. And in this movie, we saw the insanity that he has on full display. Going down a brief list of his deeds, he sailed directly into a maelstrom to combat a demon ship, acting as the de facto priest of a marriage by marrying two adults while battling supernatural aquatic creatures with one hand on his heart. Prior to this, he intentionally sailed off what was easily a 100-foot waterfall and forcefully restrained the aforementioned sea goddess Calypso. He did most of these while either screaming, smiling, or laughing. Barbossa is the pirate life incarnate, and honestly, I'd like to see a well-directed, strong movie on this character's backstory to explain why he's so smart and fearless, although he is fine with that one as of now. I doubt we'll see that in any more installments in the franchise, but it'd be nice, and I don't know, I'd shell out my money. Anyway, I've said this a lot, but he's also very charismatic and very entertaining to watch. He has great lines of dialogue as well as excellent delivery, and Jeffrey Rush knocked it out of the park with his performance. And Barbossa's insane cackle is great. He's underrated 1,000,000%. And I often find myself randomly quoting Barbossa, so that's good. Speaking of underrated characters, you have the man, the squid himself, Davy Jones. I know he's not a squid, but it sounds funnier, so cope, nerds. Anyway, I may just be an easily satisfied, low IQ, bubble blowing baby, but Davy Jones is one of the best Disney antagonists. And low-key, this is going to be a hot take, he deserves to be as beloved as characters like Darth Vader. Don't at me. I loved Bill Nighy's performance, and he has a really unique, fun laugh like Barbossa. I don't know if that's a word or not. In the movie, he seems to be a bit less evil as we are exposed to his softer side with Calypso and understand his backstory, as well as seeing other aspects of his character, like what seemed to be embarrassment when he admitted to Beckett that he showed the Brethren Court how to bind Calypso. Despite this, he's a terrible human being, intentionally trying to kill Will when he found that Elizabeth was in love with him, and before he died, he was definitely going to try to go kill Bootstrap as well. He's a man too far gone, and it's really tragic, and it shows that not everyone can be redeemed. Beckett. He was alright. I mean, he was a nice secondary antagonist, just solid, calculating, but not too much to say. Gibbs was valid. Was just a really valid man, and I'll keep it there. Now, I told you guys I'd come back to this when I was talking about Jack Sparrow, but the fabled scene that I'd say I'd talk about was the cuttlefish scene. It's a great scene. Long story short, he convinces the entire Brethren Court to attack the East India Trading Company with a speech on cuttlefish. He displays so much confidence, and it's incredibly amusing to see, and it's one of, if not my favorite, Jack Sparrow moments. Now, we move on to the final battle. My opinion is that this is one of the best in history, and I stand by this 100%. It's great. Jack's battle versus Davy Jones was epic, and Barbossa once again was great. Davy Jones's death was nice, and it was cool to see Will and Elizabeth fighting side by side. One of the coolest things about this battle was the fact that in the prior movie, the Dutchman was this looming threat that the Pearl always had to run away from. But in this movie, with Barbossa and Elizabeth's leadership, they charge into the Maelstrom to go head-to-head with the Ghost of the Sea. It's a great character development moment, or ship development moment, whatever you want to say. Finally, I'll end on the music. There's not too much to say here either. This franchise has some of the most iconic modern media themes, and the rest of the music follows suit. I don't think Now Is the Best Time, which is the theme that plays during the final battle, is cool to say the least, and Up Is Down was a fixation of mine for like a year straight, which is the theme that plays, of course, when Jack Sparrow flips the ship upside down to escape from the locker. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed me ranting about this movie. I'm going to wrap up. It's absolutely blazing in this room without the fan on. It's one of my favorite childhood movies, and if you haven't watched it in a while, I mean, give it a view. Anyway, I'm Sentiment, and I guess that's my cue.